Welcome to the tutorial for the Thistle Market Bag. For this bag, we're going to be using Mila Mia Naturally Soft Cotton in the color Mid Gray, which is sort of like a purpley mauve color gray. And we're going to be doing it double-stranded. You'll need size 5mm circular needles, which is a US 8, and these are 24 inches long. You'll also need a set of double-pointed needles in 5mm as well. You'll need some scissors, of course, a tapestry needle, a stitch marker, and a stitch holder. This bag begins with a base that is knit flat in one long rectangle, and then the stitches are picked up all the way around and the rest of the bag is worked from the bottom up. Then we'll cast off some stitches and work one strap all the way up, then place these stitches back on the needles and work the other strap. Finally, the bag is finished with an attached I-cord, which is really nice, and it helps add a little bit of strength to the strap so that it doesn't stretch too much. The base of this bag is worked double-stranded, as is the rest of the bag, in a simple stockinette rectangle. And in order to do this, you need to cast on 15 stitches. So I'm going to use a long tail cast on. I'm going to give myself a long tail there, tie my slip knot, and I'm going to use double pointed needles for this just because I think it'll be easier for the tutorial, but you're welcome to use the circular needles or the double pointed for this. There's so few stitches that these can work as you would use regular straight needles. So just to show you how I'm doing this, I'm only using one skein at a time, even though I'm working double-stranded. So one of the ends is coming from the center of the ball and the other end is coming from the outside. This is a really easy way to do double-stranded because you know you're going to use from both ends, so you can use one ball at a time rather than holding two together in case the pattern calls for an odd number of skeins. So to work the long tail cast on, you're going to put your slip knot onto the needle. You're going to take your pointer finger and your thumb and insert it in between the two strands of yarn, and you want your working yarn on top and the tail end at the bottom. Then you're going to grab a hold of both strands, in this case 4 strands, with your ring finger and your pinky and tilt your hands this way so that it almost looks like a slingshot. Then with this working needle, you're going to go behind and under this strand, then over and under this one and through the middle of that loop. And that is 1 stitch cast on. Because we had a slip knot already, now we have 2 stitches. So I'll do that again. You're going to take these 2 fingers, insert them in between the 2 strands of yarn, grab the tails, tilt your hands back, and then with this needle go to the left of this, under and up, over and around this one, and then through the loop. 3 stitches cast on. So I'm going to do this a little bit faster now, just so I can get all these stitches cast on. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Now the base of the bag is a simple stockinette stitch, which just means that every other row is knit and every other row is purl. So one side of the fabric is going to be all knit stitches and the reverse side is going to be all purl. So row 1, we will go ahead and knit. We're going to insert the right needle up into the first stitch, use the working yarn to wrap it around and in between the 2 needles. And you're going to dip the right needle down and lift off that stitch from the left needle. Again, insert the right needle into the stitch, take your working yarn, wrap it around and in between the 2 needles. Slide that right needle down, being careful not to let that new stitch fall off. You're going to dip down, and by lifting this new stitch, pull that old one off the left needle. So insert, wrap around, dip down, and lift off. I'm going to knit the rest of these stitches. now we're ready for row 2, which is going to be purl, because the back of a purl stitch is a knit stitch and vice versa. So by purling this next row, as you can see, all these little purl bumps are on the back side of the fabric. When we purl across this row, it's going to create knit stitches on the other side of the fabric, which is the front. So I will go ahead and purl. Purling involves taking the right needle, going down into the stitch instead of up, which is what we did for knit. So we're going to go down, then you're going to take the working yarn, which at this time should be in the front of the fabric. You're going to wrap that around the right needle and then scoop that new stitch up and off the left needle. So again, insert down into the stitch, wrap the yarn around, dipping this yarn, we're going to be picking up that stitch behind there and lifting the left one off the left needles. So insert, wrap around, remove the old one. So I'll just purl across this row. And then the next row of the base is just going to be knit, and the following row after that will be purl, and so on. We're just going to alternate between knit and purl rows for the entire length of the base. Check back video 2 to learn how to pick up the stitches to work the body of the bag.